You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality art, interviews, music and hot topics. Hosted by Dini Mussolini and co-hosted by Banditti. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at least 1 hour after each show at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. We welcome all. Enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah. One time for my people that are indigos, starseeds, crystallines, and 2 times for my people that are vegans. We are up, folks, to over 34,000 plus listeners and over 888,000 downloads worldwide. And guys, we've been at this thing for 3 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who have been rocking with me on this journey, and we are still growing, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, art, and research, movies, and every aspect, and we want to allow you that opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on this show, from Grammy Award-winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens, or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or what walk of life that you come from. Come on the show and talk to us. So check this out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. I am passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people that should hear it. So let's create something incredible. And with that, hello out there, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Vigilantes Radio. Thank you again, as always, for tuning in and being a part of this audience family. If you like information on how to call in, ask questions, or speak to guests, dial this number, 701-801-9813, or hop in the mix directly from my website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Scroll over to the Vigilantes Radio tab and slap that go live button, and you'll be right here in the chat room with all of us. So feel free to chat with me, shoot some questions over to ask our guests, just in case if I don't have any good ones to ask, I could definitely rely on you guys to make it up, right? So yeah, we're all here in the chat room. And as always, all episodes are available for free download at least an hour after the show ends. And you can grab it from our server over at Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, or iTunes, or YouTube, and the app called Podcast Addict. That's right. You can carry us around 24/7 in your pockets, purse, bag. Couldn't think of anything else, but so we are right there 24/7 whenever you feel like it. So that's a real cool thing. Technology is super cool these days. Or if you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you can go over to our website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com, and that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired. Well, tonight's episode is the Kitsune visual interview. And I am your host, Dini Mussolini. Not many announcements tonight, so you all know I will be out in Hollywood, San Diego, Van Nuys, Burbank, King and Country, March the 2nd through the 6th. Yeah, we have like a 2-hour concert and other things that we're doing out there. So if you're out there, I would love to meet you and greet you. We're doing a live show as well, so we'll see who we are interviewing at that time and get it on camera. So that's a wonderful thing. Also, that's all the announcements. Like I said, not really that many. But I will tell you guys, as I always do sometimes, activate your focus. Okay? So lock your mind on the positive possibilities and refuse to let go. Invest your time in advancing, encouraging, building, supporting the good things that matter. Look far beyond any trivial issue that might distract or dismay you, and spend that energy and apply your efforts to fulfill your highest intentions. Expect obstacles, expect challenges, and expect to work your way through every one. Focus is not something you have to go out and get. Focus is what you have the opportunity to do in every moment. So embrace that opportunity, activate your focus, and make the commitment to keep it going. Give yourself a taste of sustained, purposeful focus of what it can accomplish. And you'll want to give yourself a whole lot more. Okay, guys, let's see. We have roughly, 12,000 online with us right now. Since we are in the age of text messaging, like I said, feel free to shoot me a message every now and then. But I do see quite a few callers on the line as well. So, hello, beautiful people. And if you're in the chat room, you can't see who else is in the chat room. That's a privacy feature. But they will be able to see a message if you send one, because there is a private feature to send just me messages, and there's one that everybody can see, but nobody can see who else is in the chat room. It's crazy, right? Yeah, oh well. So without any further ado, let's jump into the real reason why 12,000 of you guys are on. It's not for little old Deanie, right? No, it can't be. It has to be for my special guest tonight. And I believe it, because he's incredible. So now, check this out. Here is something. I want you all to meet one of the seasoned, and I don't use that term loosely, so I'll say it again. I want you all to meet one of the seasoned minds behind the concept designed business, Kitsune Visual. Hailing all the way from Oakland, California, an up-and-coming photographer, videographer with something to say through his visual art. And guys, in writing this, I thought the challenge of the interview would be provided from just not having a real knowledge of photography. Like, I'm super good at, doing selfies, but anybody can do that, right? But the challenge became innovation and my questioning lines. So responding to the mindset and creative attitude of Anshul and giving his brain a few questions to chew on. And Anshul is someone you can certainly count on me looking to during the years and decades to come. Look at the quality of their photos over at kitsunevisual.com, and that is KITSUNEVISUAL.com. Of course, the link is in the description of the show, so don't worry about the spelling. I made it easy for you. Just click, right? And I don't really mean like simple camera taking shots either. I'm talking about true quality. There's some absolute gold in here. And hopefully he will have lots of reference to visual art and accompaniment having a true place with the photography itself. Something you all certainly know I definitely believe in. Encourage you all in our internet age to put your faith in that as well. Not only that, but this guy is a champion in terms of giving back to the art scene by lending the universe the talent that he was given. And I literally couldn't believe how much fun I was able to have in this without hearing an official sound as I normally would through my music-related interviews. One thing I like to point out is that he is completely right on, in my opinion. And that is, you say, what is that, Deanie? Well, my friends, that is how we fall in love by sight being always first. I know that we built our shows on knowing that the personalities behind the music, behind the art, behind the words of a book, behind the thoughts of geniuses. And the fact remains that the people creating it can be very bit as fascinating as the things they create itself. They can become important and necessary guides for us at all times. And I think back to all the time, cue the violins. Sorry about that, I bumped the microphone. But I try to do the violin. Never mind, you get it. So cue the music, and let's go back in time. So I think back to all the times that I spent in headphones as a youth, a young teen in his prime. And I was in my city's local art exhibits and forming my own opinions from the ideas of others while listening to brilliant minds expressing themselves over disc after disc and looking at something so beautiful in art as a picture taken or something painted in awe. Had I not put myself into the earphones and in those spaces as relentlessly as I did, I don't believe I will be the person I am today with the core values I have learned over time. And as far as I'm concerned, this guy and I are definitely on the same page in terms of, putting your art into the universe. So we welcome him back to Vigilantes Radio in any capacity if he would like to come back. And this is a respectable mind that I truly believe is capable of many great things. And I don't say that about everybody. But this is one person that I believe is capable of many great things. And come on, guys, if that doesn't convince you, wait until I ask him about God's creation that he is capturing in these photos that allows him to work with GQ. What? Yeah. Arts culture. What? Yeah. And see how he will be able to answer it all. I mean, he can go above and beyond. But let me say firsthand, the work and the spirit of Enshield is destined to go into something that we call greatness. You don't believe it? Well, let's invite him on and let's see if what I'm saying is true. So with that, welcome to our show, Enshield.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Great, man. Did I get your name correct, first of all?
Yeah, perfect. It's a hard one. You did a good job.
Thanks, man. And what about the company, Kitsune Visual?
Yeah, I mean, Kitsune Visual is, Kitsune, Japanese name for box. I just like the ring it had. And so did my buddy Alvin, and we kind of started that, together. Like, we've been shooting together for a long time. And one day we're just like, I just don't get why we're not doing this.
Right.
And yeah, our strategy has just kind of been to create edgy work and bring out the roots of companies, individuals, and other creatives out there rather than following the same trends of glamour. And I think we're doing a decent job so far. We're just hoping to keep our momentum.
Definitely, man. So shall we dive headfirst into this interview?
Yeah, sure.
All right, man. It seems like the groundwork has been done to really hit the ground running with a full social media spread and PR campaign. But tell us about your startup from the beginning, where you've been, where you're going, and what the plans are to make some noise about your company.
So basically, Alvin and I started shooting photos like probably in mid-high school. And then, back then it was just kind of fun. It was like a way to express ourselves. And it got like more serious and serious. And then one day last year, we were just like, hey, dude, we want to try to do this full time. We started, getting our adequate business licensing, all that, and just started contacting local musicians that we enjoyed listening to, local companies, and just, anybody that we felt that cares about their quality of work as well and things that we actually like, because it's more fun that way to collaborate and bring out the roots of other people through the roots of us. And that's kind of what we've always aimed for in terms of our social media spread and PR campaign, is just telling a story.
Definitely. So your company itself is about a year old, correct?
Yeah, give or take.
Cool. But what made you reach out to musicians first?
I mean, I think we love music in general, both of us, and both of us really wanted to film music videos, and Oakland and Bay Area in general, just being in California in general has a lot of great music artists up and coming, from producers to rappers to independent bands, and it's just endless. So we thought, that would be a good way to boost each other on the same platform. It's like, we're all trying to get the same thing here, so let's start doing that, and let's make sure whoever we work with is cool too. So it wasn't really just like reaching out to random artists. Like, we'd always listen to this kind of stuff, and we'd be like, all right,
okay,
why not?
Yeah, that makes more sense to reach out to the music you were already supporting by listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. That's a cool approach. And what kind of music are you into?
I would say, like, mostly I listen to a lot of hip hop lately. But like, it switches around, I go through my metal phases for sure, then sometimes I'll just listen to instrumentals. I'll listen to pretty much anything if it just has a good sound to it. I definitely think I go through my phases in terms of what I'm listening to at the same point in time. But for the last couple of months, it's just been strictly hip hop. I'm kind of switching back to instrumentals now is what I'm realizing, but still in the same realm.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. So you mentioning, I know this is off, script, and but this is just conversation between two buddies in the art realm.
Yeah.
Right? You with
Yeah,
visuals,
sure.
me with music. So instrumentals, are you an artist yourself?
No, I had the opportunity to when I was younger. My mom signed me up for some guitar classes, except back then I was just like, I don't want to do this shit, no, I'm not doing it. And I didn't take it seriously, and now looking back at it, I was just like, wow, I had a great opportunity in my hand. So who knows, maybe if I get time in the future, I'll get back to it, I suppose.
Yeah, cool, man. Did you catch the Grammys this year?
Very vaguely. I know that Chance won Best Rap Album, and I know that Adele broke her Grammy in half, but those are the only highlights I really caught.
That's a good way to put it. Broke her Grammy in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. I didn't catch it, man, but, I caught all the media coverage of it.
Yeah. That's kind of what I do, too. I just get too disappointed if my artist doesn't win, so.
Definitely. Yeah, that seems to be year after year.
Yeah.
But all right, so I want to know from your perspective, is there any risk to doing interviews like these or this without having an audience sample some of your work first? So what I get from that is, something about this process shouts two things to me. One is first impression, and that is very super bold. And, of course, I like that method as well. And two, Kitsune Visual must be accompanied with something to say. So what do you think about that, my friend? Is it a risk worth taking, or can you truly explain your message through photos alone?
I think it's a risk worth taking, and I think, truly explaining your message through photos alone, like, even though they could look, cool to a certain eye, maybe everybody wouldn't know the story behind it. But then again, if people don't like me in this podcast, then that doesn't really, they might come off with a negative preconceived notion. But I think Kitsune Visual is a company with something to say, and I don't think we can explain our message through photographs alone. Like, for instance, just two things we shot recently is like the glamorous life of San Francisco to very dark, in-depth gang culture in Oakland, and those are two varying subjects, and people might start to wonder why there's that contrast in our photos. That seems to be, somewhat of unexplainable. And this medium of, just talking to somebody allows me to speak for the company. And the message behind Kitsune Visual is just to capture reality as it appears to us. I don't think anybody's story deserve not to be told because of the cards that they've been dealt. And I think they should be as authentic as they can be. And at the end of the day, like, what we get to do, photography is kind of a privilege. People invite us into their life, and that's kind of a powerful experience that we can't take lightly. The difficult thing is when people just see that contrast, they don't realize that we're just trying to shoot what's real, and sometimes that can be beautiful, but most of the time in this world, it's also ugly. And that doesn't mean that it's a story that doesn't deserve to be told. And that's kind of like our message, is we don't want to fall into that media agency that isn't going to accept things the way they are, or trying to put a spin on the story because they don't think it would sell. I just think authenticity is a better way to go about it.
Man, that is a great answer. I like how you put that, you know, about the different photos from Oakland versus the different photos from San Francisco. Knowing those are two different landscapes. And, you know, I'm a bit of a twisted person, so I kind of find the beauty in those gang photos.
Sure. Yeah.
Just seeing like the dark or the moonlight shining on a graffiti stained brick wall, and there's smoke coming out of the sewer. That's intriguing to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, other people are like, hey, you're not going down that alley.
Yeah. I mean, I totally hear you. That's unfortunately there's two sides of the coin, and some people would hate this and some people would hate that. So, you know, we just try to do it both and see what they think of it.
Definitely, man. And I like, you know, flowers in the field too, and looking bridge and water.
Yeah.
So I like both. But I think it's great that you're able to tell both sides, and instead of letting like well, put it this way, you let your pictures depict, I guess, what the viewer is feeling in those photos. But you being able to come on interviews and fully explain it, you know, or I don't really know how to put it, but it's just cool overall. Ain't it's cool, guys? Send me a hell yeah in the chat room. It's cool. All right. Yeah, open a beer to that. All right. So tell me about the relationship between art and music in general. What's the link between them, and how do they feed off of each other in your own work?
You know, like visual art and auditory music, kind of, especially when, let's say I'm filming a music video, would feed off each other heavily, and like that makes more sense. But people don't get that, you know, auditory art is the same thing as visual art, just in a different medium. And if I pop in some headphones and if I'm on a shoot alone, I could be listening to a banger. It doesn't matter what I'm listening to. It kind of puts me at ease. And at that moment, like, I'm listening to something that I really respect and appreciate. And I'm out here in, like, this beautiful landscape or in, like, you know, just the concrete or something. And it's kind of, it sounds like a little corny, but, like, you're kind of living, breathing, feeling art at that point in time. It's all you're hearing through your headphones. It's all you're trying to create. And it's kind of all you're trying to look for when you're scanning terrain, seeing what photo to take. So I think they're all very intertwined. And when you get that focus, just focusing on, you know, the balance between the song you listen to and, you know, what else you're doing, it might give you a certain feeling, like it spark an idea.
Definitely. Okay. So on Vigilante Radio, we don't really push a religious envelope. And we all have different beliefs and stuff that we would like to talk about, and
sure,
our audience is very diverse. But we do have a show called Skeptics where we do dive in deep into the things that we do believe.
Yeah, I listened to a couple of those. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, but we all are curious to where we come from and who creates this, who creates that. That is definitely a question that we all have, even atheists. Probably not atheists. They don't care either way. But to me, photography preaches the creation of God to the people. And I think so. I think, well, what are your thoughts on capturing creation with each sky being different in design every single day? To me, it's like God gets up and create a new portrait every day. So let's dive a little deep, Anshil, if you will. And trust me, you won't run our audience away. There's like 10,000 more. If, you know, if 12,000 of them feel like they don't want to listen more, there's 10,000 more that's still at work. So what's your take on it, man?
You know, in the whole religious aspect, I wouldn't personally say that I'm necessarily a religious person, although I do respect your viewpoint on seeing that, because I think that's fascinating, and that's an interesting way of, you know, getting up in the morning, kind of like facing the challenge that somebody could throw at you, or so somebody decided to craft that way, and I think that's an awesome way to look at it. For me personally, how do I put it? I would say, I guess if I was examining more something in nature, I would definitely think, maybe think of like what's out there, in all aspects. If that's some sort of weird alien shit, I don't know. Like, sometimes you get to thinking in a dark cornfield trying to take pictures of the Milky Way or something, and you just start to lose your mind a little bit. But, I without being like, this is the right answer and all this, and obviously I'm just phrasing things, but I think I personally on my shoots have seen a lot of poverty and a lot of just overall sadness along with the glamour, to kind of just see it as more of a social divide, I suppose. Mm-hmm. Rather than, and I just think, unless I'm in nature, that I just kind of see more of how cynical this world can be when it comes time to getting what they want. And yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the way I've observed it. Like I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but...
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. But like, versus your studio setup, because you actually create the backdrop.
Sure. Yeah.
You're able to position the light the way you want it.
Sure. Yeah.
You're able to create the backdrop for it the way you want it. But when you're out in nature, it's like you got to use what nature has provided you. You have to use the sun in the best angle. You can't move the sun, but you can move your stance against the sun, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So like that's the whole, view of it to me. Like you're a creator. You create things in your studio, but when you go outside, you can't really move the flowers, but you can move your position, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I totally see where you're coming from, and I think that's a very interesting way to look at it. Is it just makes you feel really small in this world that is just throwing all sorts of elements at you, and this is what it's going to be today, and you just never really know what you're going to get, and cross your fingers, hope for the best, hope everything lines up the way you want it to line up, hope there's not hella people around the spot or anything of the sort. And yeah, I mean, to me, I've always just gone for it. I'm not really much of a plotter or schemer. I should be to help my organizational skill, but I kind of just go for things. So yeah, I mean, that question is just hard for me to answer, because I always like just do things on the fly, if that makes sense. And then I'm just like, my mind's just doing 1,000 things at once. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to do this. And then let's go somewhere else. And that's just the way I've done things, I guess.
Well, I mean, to me, that brings out the professional in you. If you're able to just, go for it. I think that's courageous in my book. It lets me know you know what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes the people who just wing it are the best in their, and the best in their business.
Yeah. I would say I'm making educated guesses while winging it, kind of. But
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm doing. Yeah.
Definitely. Hey, but Photoshop makers all God, right? We can move anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's half the game nowadays.
Yeah. All right, so I know that was a little left field, but we're going to go left field again.
Sure.
Tell us the reasons that musicians, photographers, and artists should be in control of the overall politics and the structure of the planet. Because let's face this, they're certainly not right now. This is a planet of malls, commerce, big business. What would it look like in this version of a planet, or what would a day look like in the office of Kitsune Visual if you control the politics?
I mean, first and foremost, with everything that's going on in our country right now, I think it's, like what you said is true. It's hard for, artists to get a platform on politics, commerce, and things like that, because, for whatever reason, majority of this population tends to see us as an invalid source. So I mean, I have to say this, if, our opinion isn't respected as highly, we have a man who used to host a reality TV show as president. So, I'm not sure how that comes apart, and it's just deeply saddening to me when they'll come to artists to design their architecture, do their advertisements, but they won't really ever put us on the big stage with decisions that matter the most, because there's a misconception of art being an industry filled with degenerates. At the end of the day, you know, the Oscars are coming up next month, and this year there's always really powerful movies that get nominated, and this year one of my favorites was a film called Moonlight. And there's so many amazing films that come out with these societal messages, and they resonate so hard within audiences, of like, you know, maybe this is what we should do. They have these social undertones, and I think that reflects our nation and art community as a whole. That's mostly what we believe. And, you know, without being too, you know, overly political, I'd say that does not coincide with our current president's message. And I'm not against any form of big business, politics and all that. I'm against abuse of power that creates divide, especially when it starts to hurt people and make people feel uncomfortable. And I think that's really where art, if you see, like, you know, the movies or the advertisements or, like, you know, the awareness it's spreading about things like, you know, sexual assault towards females, domestic violence, and, like, there's so many exhibitions that have been shown bringing awareness to these things through art, but it just doesn't seem to transgress towards any form of politics for whatever reason. I mean, it's above my head, but if we were in charge, I can tell you it wouldn't really happen that way. The day in the life of the office at Kitsune Visual would just be strictly just focused about bettering yourself, you know, treating everybody with, like, you know, not like they're currently being treated, and I think that's very important to us.
Yeah. Is that how you treat your customers in that aspect?
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is we can't. I would strongly say that if, like, you know, somebody came up to us and was just like, you know, I want to run an ad talking about being pro-life, or I want to run an ad that, you know, is against gay marriage. Like, I can't work with that, because that just promotes more of a divide to me. So when a customer comes to us, if you have a good message, and, you know, having a good message just means, like, you know, you're just being real and you're not trying to, like, put anybody else down in your music or in your company or in your nonprofit, whatever you got. You can just sit down with us and we just treat you with the same respect that you just gave to us.
Definitely. So what are you saying is that if somebody came that was against pro-life and that doesn't, you know, coincide with your or vice versa, if they were for abortion but your personal values conflicts with that, you would not work with that person?
Yeah, and in my case, like, you know, I'm for abortion, and, you know, this cut to what they're doing in terms of trying to make abortion less publicly accessible, I think that's ridiculous. And I think every female should have the choice to have an abortion if necessary. And if somebody came up to us and said the opposite, I don't think. I mean, it depends on what angle they're coming at it from, but if they said the opposite from a position of hatred, I don't think I could deal with that.
Man, if I had, like, a hand clapping effect, I would play it right now. Because, no, I'm gonna tell you, man. Oh man, that is awesome. I don't know too many companies that just don't see dollars to be dollars instead of core values. Like, yeah. I highly respect a business and the people who run the business who can stand up and say, no, that does not resonate with my core values, so we cannot do business.
Yeah.
I get a lot of businesses that just doesn't care what the message is, as long as they're making the money. Yeah, and I mean, some people gotta do what they gotta do, but at the end of the day, we'd personally like to look back at everything and just be like, you know, I'm proud I did that, I'm happy I did that, not like,
this didn't ride with my core values, and this message could have, you know, came off negatively to somebody else. And I think that's something that we're really passionate about.
Yeah, guys, you definitely have to. What was that word I was going to say? Man, I'm getting old. Hidden words. Support. Not forget support.
Yeah.
You gotta support businesses like Kitsune Visual. So if you're out there in the San Francisco market, Oakland market, well, where is your reach exactly? Are you just doing local?
Just through the whole Bay Area. I mean, for the right job, we go out to LA or, you know, anything of the sort. But so far, it's just been in the Bay Area.
Gotcha, man. And there's a lot of our listeners based in Los Angeles and Northern Cali. So
okay, cool.
This company that you own, yeah, man. And I also seen a review on Yelp about you guys, and it was awesome. They gave you guys like a 5-star rating.
Oh, really?
A detailed account of what happened that day. They said you guys were very professional. You showed up with all your right equipment. You knew your equipment. And all sorts of things. I thought that was very cool.
Oh, wow. I haven't even read that. I never look at those. But
man, you gotta Google
cool.
yourself, man.
Yeah.
You gotta know, because if it's something bad about you on the internet, believe the bad outweighs the good. So a lot of times you want to step
That's
in
what my partner usually takes care of.
Yeah. So this company that you own and operate has taken a considerable amount of your life or time to come alive the way you wanted it to, and finally an idea or concept to be tangible and full. So tell us about the road to being a startup company.
Okay. I mean, I think we have kind of a, how do I put it, like a dynamic between Alvin and I, which is my partner, and to us, it isn't like one person that's like going to take charge or going to be the perfectionist in any task. I mean, we definitely butt heads, but it's not for like ever making anything worse or just like, you know, I think your way's wrong, all that. But we obviously vary in ideas sometimes, but there's no real hard feelings. Sometimes it's just like, hey, dude, I think I could add this to that. Let me put that in there. And then it goes back and forth. Like he might say the same thing to something I did. And you know, at the end of the day, we're humans. We're different forms of artists. Some things I would definitely say Alvin does better. And some things I think he would definitely agree that I do better. And that's kind of the beauty of getting both of our hands on a project, because tinkering with it only makes it better. And but if we really like disagree and affirm on something, we'll kind of state why and figure that out. But that was kind of the hard thing on the road to becoming this company, because it was really hard to figure that out at first. And it's just like, okay, do we make like 2 separate edits of this music video? Do you do one and do I do one? Or do we just go sit on the screen and watch it? Or is that counterproductive? Or do I add stuff to the video and tell you to punch stuff in? And like, you know, it was just back and forth like that. But I think the road to it was just figuring out how we gel well together, since our styles are very different. And once we kind of figured that out, and I mean, obviously it's a never-ending game and smoothing our kinks out as well, but we're just trying to get better. And I think that was, starting the company was easier than actually working it. If that makes sense. Because like starting the company is just like, all right, we just made a killer website. We worked our asses off on that, and then now like we have this cool website and we have like some cool work we can showcase on there, and then what, right? So I think figuring out where to go and what direction to go was like the hard part, and how we were actually going to work together. And I think we've definitely figured out a formula that works now, but we're still working on making it better, and we'll continue to do that.
Definitely. So Pagosi's in the chat room. He says, "Hi guys." What's up, Pagosi?
Sure. Yeah, tell him I said what's up.
All right. So who's the perfectionist in this equation?
I think it really depends on the project, because like, let's say we have like a more mellow song that we're gonna go film a music video for. Like, I struggle with editing stuff like that, which is weird because I listen to it more, but I struggle at making it interesting. I would think, you know, in that case, like, if Alvin was slammed with something, if I had to edit that, I would say he'd be like more of a perfectionist. He'd just be like, dude, you gotta tighten this up. Like, this doesn't look right. You gotta fix it. And then, you know, when it's something more fast-paced, I'd say, like, you gotta tighten this up. This. Or, you know, when it comes time to Photoshop and stuff, too, sometimes the photo calls for, like, different toning than another. Or, like, sometimes, you know, mistakes happen, human error, and then you're just like, hey, you should fix that. So I think it really depends on who notices it. And, like, at the end of the day, like, we're not really trying to, like, knock each other down. We're always just trying to make each other better. So I think that's always, like, in the back of our heads. It's just like, you know, Alvin isn't saying anything to me just to be like, hey, like, I think I'm better than you, or I'm not saying anything to him to be like, hey, I think I'm better than you. It's just like, hey, we just both want each other to get better, and I think that will make it better.
Definitely, man. And my partner is a perfectionist, but he's equally dope as I am, and he will acknowledge that he's a perfectionist. And we still be working on our first and only song till this day, and that would be after 10 years of recording together. But the difference between the two is that he's a song guy, like he has to nail a song, and I'm more of an album guy, where I'm building a bigger picture.
Sure.
He believes in the magical moments, whereas I see the larger picture for the grand compass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have literally recorded a backlog of songs and continue to push and write and record more. But enough of that, you know, professional stuff. So what's happening behind the scenes over there at Kitsune Visual? How many concepts for new business ventures do you all have, or sit at the round table and hatch out, or consider for its inclusion into your company? I know it just started with photography, and then later videography came along, right?
Yeah. I would say, like, you know, obviously it's going to be more centered towards that, and then we're pushing more towards, without giving too much away, but we're trying to push more towards into the advertisement end more, because we worked on a couple concepts, and it was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And I mean, I watched the show Mad Men a lot, so sitting there, you just, I don't know, you just kind of get into that zone. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool. I don't know if it's ever going to be more than, you know, just visuals. Like, I screenwrite a lot, but I don't see room for that currently. But later, you know, if we ever got a budget of some sort, I would definitely consider making a short film or something of the kind.
Yeah, man, go for it, man. And in the marketing field and advertisement, that's where the real work and money is at.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I mean, there's a lot of corporations, you know, that are always hatching out, you know, new advertising, but they need somebody to create it. And, I would assume that's where you guys would come in at it if you were ever to get into that field, like, directly. But I don't think you guys will be able to do like freelance anymore, because those are such huge jobs that are continuing.
They definitely take a while, and the contracts definitely do it. So it's kind of, you know, tough pill to swallow to bite the bullet there. I'm sorry, what was your question?
I said, would you guys do that if the right opportunity came along with a large enough contract to secure you for the next 10 years, to where, hey, and Shield can do that stream, I mean,
yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, that's a huge chunk of my life, Alvin's life, and all that. And, you know, I think first things first, if something like that happened to us, we would have to get see what company it is first, see the contract, see how much creative freedom we're going to get. And I would say if there's no confinements and we got you know, not even like a crazy budget to make ads, but like, you know, a generous budget, and there was creative freedom involved, then I would say yes. But I do think that we're the type of people that would also find a way to still branch out and still support our community and still like support our local artists. Cause, I mean, we're both just kind of like workaholics. Last week we shot this music video and, we edited it in 24 hours, like literally nonstop. That was my Saturday. Wow. So, I mean, I think we can find a way to squeeze something in. Obviously it won't be, you know, as intensive, but, the stuff for us in the music scene or in, you know, this scene, I don't think it'll ever stop. It's just that we want to grow ourselves in a variety of gigs too, and not confine ourselves to one realm. So I just think we'd just start seeing a variance of projects that we'd be working on.
Definitely. The reason I asked that was because my buddy is out in San Diego, and he started just like you guys as a photographer. And he did one ad for a small company. A larger company asked a smaller company who did the ad, and, you know, of course they gave him the reference, and he has a contract in place, but he is unable to fill any requests from like local businesses and artists, anything. He's completely corporate now.
Yeah. Well, dang.
Yeah, it's like he has.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still the owner of his company, but he has now a contract in place with like government.
Sure.
So
yeah, I mean, it'd be a tough call where I think we'd really have to sit down and talk about it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what we'd say right now. But
which brings me to the next lining of my question. Given what we just talked about, of course, so weigh the importance of achieving perfection and taking time in the quality of the services that you provide versus being constantly out there and posting new videos and photos that might not be as perfect as you would like to out there on the internet. Is one of these ways necessary any better than the other?
I mean, let's see. I don't think I'm ever going to be perfect, and I don't think anybody's ever going to be perfect. It's just not possible. And I think you can be perfect today, but I strongly believe that everybody's personal standard gets different every day with experience. And if I could say I had a perfect video a year ago, I don't think I'd be doing it right. To me, if I give it my everything, leave no stone unturned, that's the best I can do. That's like kind of my perfect minus human error, and there's always going to be that. All I can do is like kind of just work the hardest I can, try to push the boundaries, and consider nothing to be uncomfortable. The next project to me should always be based on like just kind of obliterating yourself in the last project. So the next post should be better than the last post, to me, or, you know, at least on the same bar. And I think posting new videos or photos is great, but if it's varying in quality, it's really not. And that's just kind of where I stand on it. Because I've had some explorations where I'm just like, I just captured so many good photos, and others where I haven't gotten a single one. And sure, on the ones that I haven't got a single one, some might be decent, but it doesn't set the bar. If it doesn't set the bar or pass the bar on the last post, then it's just not postable to me. So I think it's better to have less than to show off more, just to show that you're capable of capturing a certain caliber of quality and just keep it there.
Definitely. So that answers a question that I just got a few minutes ago on Google Hangouts. He asked me, was Enshil an android? So no, he's not an android, he's human. So you just got your answer there.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you personally are represented through the photography on your website, kitsunevisual.com. Are they personal or are they about universal subjects?
So like on my photographs on Kitsune Visual, I think, you know, even if it seems like a universal subject, it's all personal, because if I'm on a rooftop, like taking a good angle of the cityscape, it seems like it's universal to everybody, and you know, it seems like something that's like out there. But for me, it's personal because I have to like find that location, figure out a way to get on that rooftop, and figure out how I wanted to edit this photograph to, you know, in a way in like that photograph is going to represent me. So I just try to be myself, and I used to try to imitate my favorite photographers, and I just realized I can't anymore because I'm not them. So I'd say, like, just keep it personal, keep the message being yourself, and be real with that community or area, whether it's negative or positive.
Okay. So what is your approach to taking the best photos? I know you just mentioned a few things you do. And what would you say that there's an overall message or tone that connects the things you shoot and the visuals you create?
You know, I think there's the approach to taking the best photos is just, you know, be yourself and try to be unique, you know, like, especially, let's say my family comes in to San Francisco, from another state, or, you know, a friend comes in from another state, and they want a tour of San Francisco. We're going to go to tourist spots. I suppose I'm going to show them, like, you know, the things they want to see. But at the same point in time, like, knowing that people are taking hundreds of pictures here every single day, knowing how many famous photographers are going to hit this every single day, how can you break that trend and create something different? Like, how can you see things differently? And I think that's kind of an approach that I try to push myself on, especially, you know, in the post-processing editing aspect. I've really been pushing that a lot more. Trying to get more creative, trying to create more concepts. And I think the approach to taking the best photos is don't go to a spot that you figured out about because your friend or a famous photographer went there, you know, somebody you follow on Instagram went there, and take the same picture they did. Try to do something different.
Okay, that's cool. So this is another fun question. Have you ever heard of an alternate universe? You know, the one universe where there's another version of you running around who made all of the opposite choices that you've made today or leading up to today. What would that version of you look like?
Probably pretty terrible. I mean, when I was younger, I don't think I made the best choices. At the same time, I'm glad I made them. I think you have to learn from your mistakes, and I'm glad I got, you know, whatever sort of demon wild child I had in me out sooner than later. I don't think I'd be sitting here today talking about Kitsune Visual if I didn't really, like, learn from my mistakes or change my ways or, you know, just grow up, simply. But, yeah, like, when I was younger, I was just, I don't think I had any focus or anything of the sort. So I think I was just kind of, like, going through life day by day, just like, I just want to have fun, and this summer I'm going to have fun, and I don't really care about anything else. And now it's just like, you know, I'm older, I've matured a lot, and I realize there's more to life than just messing around. So.
Right. Man, it's super sad, man, when you, like, realize that when you wake up, and you're like, oh, man, what did I do in my youth? I was so just in play mode, man.
There's so many skills I could have picked up.
Man. Yeah, man. So I hate to think back to those times because I could have been like Charlemagne, you know?
Yeah.
By now, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, you're doing a good job.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Or Diane Sawyer. But no, anyway, so describe your earliest photography memory for us. Where did the love for it come from? I know I read your bio, is how you just used to tinker around and you went to school, or you had some classes and you actually had like a low grade in it, but now this is your job.
Yeah, so when I was like a freshman in high school, I was just like, damn, like, I can't draw, you know? Like, a lot of my friends are really talented at drawing. And like, all I really ever wanted to do was just like, dude, I want to like write graffiti or like do something like that, and like, you know, draw some like crazy stuff. And I couldn't do it. So like, there was this class freshman year of high school, photography, and I was just like, all right, maybe I can do this. I couldn't at that point in time. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't serious enough. Maybe I wasn't mature enough, or maybe my teacher just sucked. I have no idea. But I got like C's and D's consistently. I just got really discouraged. I was just like, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna never touch this again. Then a couple years later, my auntie got her first DSLR, and you know, she's old. She had no idea how to use it, and she hit me up one weekend, and she was like, hey, come take this camera home, figure it out, bring it back, teach me how to use it. And I was just like, God damn it. Like, you know, this is a chore. But, yeah, I took it out a couple days and messed around with it. And, you know, you kind of feel that love for something that you were interested in, or like, you know, just maybe more of that intrigue. And, you know, I just kind of got hooked, just trying to teach her how to use the camera. She didn't get it back for days. But, yeah, I probably still owe her pictures of her kids. I should probably do that sometimes. But, yeah, I would say, like, just having that opportunity to, like, kind of own a DSLR for, like, as long as I needed to is what it ended up being, as long as I could, until I could buy my own. You know, that was huge for me. It just gave me something to do, and it gave me, like, the outlet. And back then, I mean, the DSLRs weren't as cheap as they are now. So it was just huge getting, you know, that boost that somebody was just like, hey, all right, I wanted you to teach me how to use this, but, you know, go ahead, take it as long as you want to. I see that you like this, and whenever you get your own, bring it back. So that was kind of cool.
Definitely. So guys, Anshil has the making of a genius. As we know, all geniuses usually either flunked school, had bad grades, or didn't go to school at all. And now he's thriving in his business. See, making of a genius, I tell you. That goes back to that song, we don't need no education.
Oh, yeah. Quite the classic, yeah. Yeah.
So, what drives you to continue taking... guys, don't follow my advice. I'm sorry. But, okay, so what drives you to continue taking photos? What will drive you to keep on taking photos in the years to come?
To continue taking photos, I mean, it sounds weird, but, you know, when you're younger, like, everybody wants to, like, I don't know, in my community at least, everybody just wants to be an athlete. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play basketball. I got all right at that, but, like, you know, it wasn't really like I was ever gonna go to college for it, or, like, I wouldn't, like, get much recognition for it. And, when I picked up photo, like, everything just happened pretty quick. Like, you know, first and foremost, like, it's fun. Like, you know, that always drives me to continue. And it sounds really petty, but, you know, to see myself, before even Kitsune, like, just to see myself getting recognition for something was nice. 'Cause I was just like, all right, well, maybe I can do this, you know? So it's just like, you know, maybe I'm doing something right if I get a feature here. Maybe if I'm doing something right because so-and-so wants to work. And like I said, it sounds really petty, but having some sort of confirmation is nice. To me, it, like, makes me feel like I'm on the right track. And yeah, I mean, it just gives me that drive to keep continuing, and, you know, hopefully to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I just like to go out there, and I don't like thinking of competition, but I want it, like, in a bad way, but, like, I want to go out there and compete, you know? Like, I just like that. I just like seeing myself progress.
Definitely.
Through the ranks, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean when you say that, like, competition. And that's what I do a lot. I listen to a lot of people that I would think are my competition, but I also admire them. So whenever I do something, I try to one-up them.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, like, this show is always evolving because I'm either listening to my competition or I'm just in the kitchen creating new ideas to make just this, you know, the best thing ever on the internet or on an app called Podcast Addict. So I get what you totally mean with that. So, like, when somebody hires you guys for a job, do they get to pick either Anshil or Alvin, or how does that work? Or is it just a team?
No, we do it team-based. Like, you know, every time we do a music video, both of us show up. It really helps having two cameras there too. The more footage or more pictures, better. and then you can really start to see both our styles shine through. Because in certain situations, one person could be better, especially in highly specialized situations. So it's really a nice fallback to give everything kind of a degree of consistency and high caliber work.
Okay. So since you're out here with us, how can consumers find you and communicate with you?
They can go on our website, at www.kitsunevisual.com. They can email us at optics@kitsunevisual.com. Our business phone number is also listed on our website, or you can just, interact with us, on Instagram, and that's Kitsune_visual. Anything works, really. We're in an age where there's so many methods of communication that whatever's clever, whatever's easier.
Right. Definitely. Is there something about what you create that you hope stands out more in your work from the rest?
Yeah.
Like, I know you mentioned that you guys have different styles, or.
Yeah. For Kitsune Visual as a company, I would say, I know, I think both of us would want to work with, our favorite music artists, or make, video that, cause there's a lot of cool songs we get to work with that, are pretty popular within the Bay Area and California community, and we'd love to help out in that progress and make it a bigger thing. For me personally, one part about my work that I hope to stand out from the rest is, I shoot a lot of landscapes, but through that you also see quite a bit of Bay Area poverty, and I think I just hope, those are never my most popular photos, but I hope people can recognize that for being a real problem, and just see that just in the tech capital of the nation, everything is just not okay, and this is the result of growing rapidly, and I think it's important to note some of the side effects that it could have. So for me personally, I hope whatever I've shot in those neighborhoods that people can appreciate and listen to the story that these people that have to live there can tell, because you can learn a lot from them.
Definitely. All right, so after the music break, so we can catch our breaths here, it'll be time for our usual tradition. It is called the hot seat, and our fans love this part of the segment, and of course along with the actual interview, but the audience gets to hear either some vocals, maybe a poem, inspirational speech, written word, spoken word, freestyle rap, recite lyrics, musical tributes, karaoke, joke, stories, live instruments from our special guests. Well, you never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And tonight, we'll find out if Anshil have what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe even some hidden talents. So let's cut to some music real quick. We have, and our label is releasing this record on March the 3rd. It's Skin and Bones, Up and Down. So check it out.
I just wanna get up, up. They just wanna see me down. I just wanna get up, up. They just wanna see me down. Grandma, please come give me, give me, give me, give me. Grandma, please come give me, give me, give me, give me. I just wanna do my thing. Maybe laugh but not sing. Maintain the main thing. Do you dig what I say? I don't really wanna skizz It's so sick, man. I just wanna get busy, busy, busy and catch up. And you can G-G-G-G. I just wanna get up, they just wanna see me down. I just wanna get up, they just wanna pull me down. Grandma, please come get me, get me, get me, get me. Grandma, please get me, get me, get me, get me. I just wanna get up, they just wanna see me down. I just wanna get up, they just wanna pull me down. Grandma, please come get me, get me, get me, get me. Grandma, please get me, get me, get me, get me. It's one of them things. You know what I mean? It's la vida, you know what I mean? He doing it in the land of the family. You know what I mean? He's thugging homies, you know what I mean? How we roll. Just cruise control, you know what I'm saying? All them hard times, you know what I mean? Them sad songs. You know, but we gon' gain that victory. We gon' overcome, you know what I mean? By the blood diamonds of the thugs, you know what I mean? True Tumblr United Gathering. Them songs, I just wanna get up. They just wanna pull me down. I just wanna get up. They just wanna see me down. Grandma, please come get me, get me, get me, get me. Grandma, please come down. Hey, 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 Indian herbs, you know what I mean? And passion flowers, and lavender, that Lamiana, boy, you don't know nothing about it. Smoking, token, smoking, choke. Smoking, token, smoking, choke. What up, KB? Smoking, token, smoking, choke. LB, WB, FB, you know what I mean? BB, Gambino, Familia, Quattro La Vida, Q Loco Familia, baby. In the yard, staying hard.
All right, we are back. And again, that was Skin and Bones Up and Down, which will be releasing on Only One Media Group March the 3rd. So we are back, as I mentioned before, with Anshil and our hot seat. What do you have for us, brother?
I'm a visual artist, so this is really hard. I was looking through my scripts trying to find a little monologue or something, and I can't get them open fast enough. So I'm not.
Another music break if you need some more time.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
All right, and it's currently 11:11, so make your wishes out there. I wish for $1 million. All right, enough of that. Okay, let's see what we have here. Pagosi says he won $1 million too. I know, right?
Yeah, I actually found something.
Okay, cool. I guess my rambling, took all the time.
Yeah. So this is a poem, not by me, but I don't know. I thought it was it's been one of my favorites. It's by the great Robert Frost, and it's short, sweet, good. So with no further delay, I'll go on. So it's called Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that destruction ice is also great and would suffice. And that's it. I don't know. That's all those copies since I read it in high school.
Yeah, that was cool, man. I've actually never heard that one, so I'll look that one up.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
Oh yeah. So, and you made it through our hot seat, so congratulations.
Yeah, just barely.
Hey, but you made it, man. We've actually been one person not to make it through.
Wow.
But everybody else, they made it through, whether it was telling a story, telling a joke, reading a poem, and I guess you're with one of the greats. That means you have some true artistic ability that we very respect.
Sure.
So I just want to say thank you once again for taking out the time to find us over at Vigilantes Radio and to share your stories and insights and philosophy. And I definitely respect you for having core values in business and not just taking any dollar. Definitely a golden winner in my book. So we have a tradition. Here at you're welcome, at the Vigilantes Radio. This is our open floor where you can say anything at all. You can say thank yous or shout outs to anything or anyone, like the auntie who gave you the camera, started everything, or anything that we didn't mention that you wanted to bring up. Here's your opportunity to have the mic all to yourself. No more rambling.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, first things first. Thanks, auntie, for giving me a camera. And then, I'm only going to do one shout out, and that's to my business partner, Alvin Wu. I think he deserves that much. He has to be my one and only shout out because he's not here, and I have to uphold the fact that Kitsune Visual is a two-man team, and since, I'm on this and he's probably listening, shout out. He's also a killer photographer, and without him, there's no team. So there's that. And thanks everybody for listening, and thanks Deanie for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem, man. The pleasure was all mine. I welcome the challenge because we really don't do any visual artists.
Sure.
So first of many, I guess. Now all the rest will say, hey, let's check out that Kitsune Visual interview and maybe book one of ourselves. So you're the pioneer, man. So we have you to thank for that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you as always for checking out the podcast. Oh, let me check, see if anybody have any questions before we log off here.
Okay.
All right. Any questions in the chat room? Shoot them now, or forever hold your keyboard. Okay. Go over to Google Google Hangouts, sorry.
All right, yeah.
All right, we got one from George. It says George Lopez, but I don't believe it's George Lopez.
Sure.
George asks, Anshio, what is your current equipment? I'm on your website now, and I'm looking through.
Okay. Sure thing. It's a Canon 60D. We use a 35 millimeter Canon EF aperture 2 lens, and then I have a 14 millimeter Rokinon wide angle lens. I have a classic 50 millimeter, and I have a zoom lens, and too many lights that I should get rid of. But yeah, aside from that, that's about it. Yeah, I think I covered all the bases there.
Let's go over to Facebook.
Sure.
All right, we got one. It says, Anshio, you sound a bit of an adventurer. Have you ever hang glided? If you haven't, what has been your greatest adventure yet?
I'm not more an extreme sports thrill seeker. I couldn't do that. But yeah, I could build up to it. We'd have to start small. There was some training I could properly get. I would say my biggest adventure has definitely been, I have to leave the exact location unnamed just for legal purposes, but there's an abandoned hotel somewhere in the Bay Area, It takes about 30 minutes to hike to, and it was simply breathtaking. Just the whole point of hiking up to it, getting to experience this massive structure, and explore every room, crevice, and kind of see the urban decay of that. And it's definitely a whole day trip that you have to do carefully and, obviously at your own risk. But, I've done a couple things like that, and or more than a few, but that one just always resonates with me. And then, all my road trips with my friends to Lake Tahoe, Yosemite, LA, you name it. Those are always an adventure blast because we're just driving around trying to get lost and figure out what we can find.
Awesome. All right, so yeah, I guess we have a psychic that's listening saying that you're an adventurer. Wow. And there you have it. All right, thank you guys as always for tuning in at our podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download at least an hour after the show ends, and you can grab that at either our server over at Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, over at iTunes, YouTube, our website, which again is only1mediagroup.com, or the app called Podcast Addict. That's right, you can carry us around 24/7 in your pocket, purse, man purse, book bag, or whatever it is you carry, and have us right there on demand. Feel free to bootleg. Remember, sharing is caring. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or have a particular guest on the show. And that includes even music for us to play. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free. We do not judge. And we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts. And actually scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, just something you got to deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. That line always cracks me up. Be sure to spread the word. Remember, sharing is caring, as I said before. And also, another special thanks to our guest, Ann Shield, for joining us tonight to talk photography and videography and Kitsune visuals and other things. So, feel free to download this episode and share it and bootleg it in any form and fashion that you feel like doing. We stepped our game up just for our listeners and our guests to make sure that they have the best experience here on our show. Okay, just one final thought. Just remember to be yourself and be absolutely freaking great at just doing that. Peace and have a wonderful night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds, of the duo No Longer the Hero. Co-hosted by the Vigilantes Banditti. Call in to join the mix. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com.